As Trump tightens his grip on America, he's getting pushback from several unexpected quarters, not the least of which is the Roman Catholic Church. A Catholic priest in Chicago just lambasted Trump for his war on poor people and people of color. And it's not just the shot heard around the world, it's a video that's going around the world. Ever since the election of Pope Leo, American Catholic bishops and priests have increasingly become more vocal and are taking action opposing Trump's social policies, which, in no uncertain terms, contradict the teachings of the Catholic Church. And when it comes to Trump's policies, which are in direct conflict with the teachings of the Church, the list is long. You can start with Trump's policy on immigration, his policy on ICE raids, deporting people without trial, defunding education, defunding healthcare, ending food shipments to starving countries, eliminating federal jobs for no reason, firing people without cause, and finally, transferring wealth from the poor and middle class to billionaires. The Catholic Church is theologically and politically opposed to every single one of those policies. And yet, the Church has not been very vocal in its opposition to these policies until now. As soon as Pope Leo was installed as Pope, American bishops have not only spoken out against Trump's immigration policies, they have started leading protests. They are taking to the streets and bringing fellow Catholics with them. Father Michael Pfleger of Chicago is taking it one step further. Standing side by side with Governor J.B. Pritzker, Father Pfleger denounced Trump specifically and his programs and policies, but mostly for raining violence down on Chicago. Because the governor of Illinois and the mayor of Chicago have kept the National Guard out of Chicago, Trump and his goons have increased the intensity and ferocity of ICE raids on Chicago. Chris Hayes from MSNBC just reported on what can only be described as a military assault on an apartment building in Chicago.
In the middle of the night, hundreds of armed federal agents and police, backed up by riot trucks, smoke grenades, and helicopters, breached fences and busted doors in an immigration raid on an entire apartment building on the city's south side. They pulled dozens of residents from their homes and zip ties, including children, some of them without any clothes. They then held some outside for hours and dragged the others into rented vans.
It was scary because I've never had a gun put in my face.
Neighbors like Ebony Watson says they ducked for cover as they heard several flashbangs go off.
They was terrified. The kids was crying, people was screaming. They looked very distraught. I was out there crying when I seen the little girl come around the corner because they was bringing the kids out too. Had them zip tied to each other. One of them literally laughed. He was standing right here. He said, them kids.
They zip tied the kids together.
So as the economic and physical assaults on poor people continue in the streets of Chicago, Father Pfleger decided it was time to raise holy hell. Watch.
The state of emergency is in America, not Chicago. And it's birthed from this president and his administration. Dr. King said he could not raise his voice against the violence of the oppressed without having first spoken clearly to the greater purveyor of violence, his own country. And those are my words to you, Mr. Trump. Before you dare speak about any violence in Chicago, look into your mirror and address the violence coming from the White House. The violence of cutting SNAP, which will cut $2.4 million in food access, with 360,000 Illinoisans at risk by taking food off their tables. Address the violence of cutting Medicare and Medicaid by $500 million, reducing access to doctors, and threatening the closure of hospitals and nursing home facilities throughout the state of Illinois. Literally putting Americans in life and death situations. Some Americans will die because of your Medicaid cuts.
This is precisely the kind of denunciation of social policy that you would rarely, if ever hear from the Catholic Church in the last 4 decades. But times are clearly changing. And yes, Father Michael has a long and proud history as a social activist priest, but that's precisely why they wanted him to speak to begin with. Father Michael does more than talk the talk. He walks the walk. He's been serving the Black Catholic community on the south side of Chicago since the 1980s, and he knows a war on poor people and people of color when he sees one. The federal government is in shutdown mode, and Donald Trump, once again, has not been seen for days. But you can bet ICE raids are going to continue. You can bet the government is going to be able to fund raids, deportations, armed patrols, and detention facilities. But there's one thing the Trump administration did not count on when it was laying the groundwork for its attack on the poor and middle class. It did not calculate that its thoroughly racist policies on immigration would awaken the sleeping giant, and the Catholic Church would start organizing against them. Trump better pray this is an isolated incident. I guarantee you, it's not. The spirit of Dan Berrigan lives. I'm Anthony Vincent Gallo for Occupy Democrats. And if you like this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. You'll not only help out our channel, you'll be taking concrete action and helping get rid of Trump and the MAGA movement who ushered him in.